And today we delve a little bit into Unicron Trilogy, a little bit into the original 13 with the Transformers Legacy United version of vectorprime. He will be our focus, along with a comparison to an earlier version of this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the Legacy United vectorprime. I wasn't sure what I was going to think about this guy. I did really like the coloration because the only version of vectorprime that I have is the 2008 release, which admittedly I really like. I actually like the colors on that because it looks very much like he does in the Covenant of Primus. And I was okay with him being gutted of the electronics because I don't really like the electronics. However, that guy never first nor last had a bicep swivel or an ankle tilt. They were not key, but they were things that I noticed. He's still wildly excellent. That was called a Voyager. This has been called a Voyager, and this is based on the fantastic G-Axis mold. Is it a true blue Voyager in modern standards? Is it good? By comparison, we're going to dive into all that. We're going to explore all of that when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. So this is so weird because I wasn't sure I wanted the newest version of vectorprime, and now that I've got it, I still don't know if I want it. Not because it's bad though, because it's actually quite excellent. That said, let's begin by looking at the packaging here. We can see his very vectorprime-ish looking alt mode there. Over here, a close-up of his face in the robot mode, naturally. Ooh, close-up of his face in the robot mode. Pardon the glare there. Over here we have the typical kind of artwork that we get for United. And on the back, of course, we see our boy in both modes. And we also see that he has a Cyber Planet key. Now, I'm not a Unicron Trilogy guy at all. We all know this. However, undoubtedly, if you're going to do a version of the 13, you need to have vectorprime, right? And this is definitely the most popularized version of him, the most popularized coloration of him. Though, to be fair, there are a couple of others in terms of, like, the general look sort of stays the same, but the colors sort of change depending on what you're referencing. Covenant of Primus is a little bit different again, with more kind of browny or goldy colors, if you will. Okay, that's the packaging. Take that out of it. He also comes with a big old two-sided set of instructions, and not for nothing, honestly. The instructions are pretty darn effective. If you know G-Axis, though, because this is a heavy retool of the G-Axis mold, which, by the way, if it wasn't #1, it was within the top 3 for the year he was released. Was that last year? Was that the year before? Was he in Legacy or Legacy Evolution? Was he 2022 or 2023? I can't even recall right now, but I was so blown away impressed with that mold and thought it was fantastic that it was one of the best of the year, which means this vectorprime should rank up there pretty high as well. Time will tell. Effective instructions, though. Our guy comes with this beautiful blue translucent Cyber Planet key. Bit smaller than the original Cyber Planet key. But you know what? If you look at the molded in detail, it homages it real nicely, man. He comes with this translucent sword. By the way, the handle, it's on a hinge, and I don't know why it's on a hinge. I haven't been able to figure that out yet. And there's a peg there and a peg hole on the back of the Cyber Planet key, so you can put it on the sword if you're so inclined. And not for nothing, you may notice here, I don't usually come in this close, but you may notice here we have 2 rectangular slots on either side of his chest. That uses 2 rectangular tabs on the translucent blue piece. and it fits in there really secure. It stays there super nice. Obviously his sword can go in his hand. The instructions tell you to open the fingers and then put it in his hand and then close the fingers. But I mean, that's up to you kind of how you get it in his hand. It's just a 5mm peg on the handle. But let's say you don't want it in his hand. In his hand, you can always come here to the back and using the peg and this peg hole right here, you could, there's probably other places, but you can store that there no problem. And it stays there very nicely. Now, not for nothing, here we have vectorprime next to, that's right, vectorprime. And again, not for nothing, this version is the, I think it was 2008 version that released in pretty darn limited quantities. This is a hard version to get compared to the other ones because it had such a small release. That said, it is also the version where all of the electronics got gutted, which is fine for me, I'm not an electronics guy. I like this coloration of him because it's very similar to what we got with the Covenant of Primus. That said, some might say that the other gold version of this guy, rather than the brown version, that still has the electronics, might be a bit closer to the Covenant of Primus version. That one had orange translucent plastic on the wings and the sword. The original had blue translucent on the wings and the sword, just like the new one has blue translucent. This guy got rid of the translucent. His wings are soft rubbery plastic, but they're not clear, they're not translucent, and his sword is a solid sword. Just worth noting. The 2008 version, based on, I guess, the 2006 version, was sold as a Voyager, I do believe. Clocks in at 335 grams of plastic. The new lad, a modern Voyager, still clocks in at a respectable 142 grams of plastic. 145 to 165 is kind of my Voyager range, or certainly is the traditional range over the last decade. That's been eroded over the last 4 or 5 years. And not for nothing, I think that this guy clocking in at 142, with all of the paint that's used and all of the molded in detail, I think it still stands as a true blue modern Voyager. But man, yeesh. You want to talk about the difference that, 15-ish years can make? I mean, you can see it here. Now, before I actually review this guy and start giving him scores and we see his transformation and his articulation and stuff, let's address the elephant in the room, which is, of course, none other than Safeguard. This guy, the Minicon. On this guy, he can go many places. Naturally, I tend to leave him stored on the Minicon port that's on the arm guard. And I wondered, is there a way to incorporate the original Safeguard with the new vectorprime? Well, let's take this guy out of it for now. By the way, the articulation on the original lacks an ankle tilt and lacks a bicep swivel. That was the real killer on that one. I'm going to talk a little bit about where you can put this guy, but let's just adjust the camera a little bit so that we're focused in on him a little bit more. Okay, so this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. I was really hoping that there would be a way for me to attach this guy on the arm. However, the arm has a peg hole, just like this guy has, well, technically a peg hole, but it's a Minicon port, right? That's not going to work on the arm. So I said, okay, cool, that's fine. Legs have a port, not going to work there. Bottom of the feet, port, not going to work there. So I was like, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. Then I came to the back. And when I came to the back, I realized a couple of things. One, I realized, and I'm going to take these out of the way for a moment, that in vehicle mode, it can go up here because this, I believe, is actually a Minicon port. So in vehicle mode, we're taken care of. He can incorporate on the top of the vehicle. We'll see that later. Then I said, is there anything I can do back here? Again, can't go in this peg hole or anything like that. But we do have Minicon ports here. So technically, if you have a Safeguard and you want to pair him with this vectorprime, it's not ideal. However, you can, if I can do this now, please let me be able to do this now. You can technically have him hang out right there on the back. No problem. Just thought I'd mention it because I know that a lot of people wondered about it, and honestly, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that. I guess ideally we would get a new replacement of Safeguard. I think it probably should have come with this guy, but you know what would have happened if they had put Safeguard in here? They probably would have said, oh, he's leader class now. Even though, let's be realistic, right? He's not. In terms of the sword in the hand, by the way, not for nothing. You can take the sword here, put it up in the hand, and, you know, why are you not going up in this hand? I know that you can. There we go. And close it up. I mean, not for nothing, he holds it just fine, can wield it just fine. Cool beans. Okay, let's start talking about scores for this guy. Since he's from the Cybertron universe, we're going to measure him by the cartoon, starting from the feet, working our way up. He should have toe cannons. He doesn't have it, but his feet are the right color with that magenta, I guess we'll call it, coming up the front of the leg. I like the gold on the knee. We're missing a little bit of gold detailing here on the sides. I also wish that they had gotten rid of the leftover tooling on the lower leg for the little bat wings that are attached to G-axis, right? I mean, come on, man. Come on. We're missing some, like I said, gold on the side and stuff. On the thighs here, I love the metallic-y look of these thighs, by the way. Take that out. I'm going to put this back on his back for now. But on the front of the thighs, we should have ear vents here and here that are white. We don't have those ear vents. When it comes to the pelvis section here, we do have the kind of... stand him up again. Pardon me with that. We do have the metal point that comes down with the gold detailing. We kind of have the gold belt, I'll say. But on the two hips, we should also have some gold pointed detail coming down like about right there. Say, man, he keeps wanting to fall back. He is a little bit back heavy, I'm not going to lie. He is slightly back heavy because, I guess, of all this junk back here. Or at least I find my copy is. I digress. Again, a bit of a stylized pelvis. Then we get to like the tummy chest section, and I'm going to take that off. And again, the blue, the pink that's supposed to be in here, the red detailing kind of up here, or the fuchsia. The gold, it's mostly right. The shoulders, they come out mostly right, arguably a little too small, but the gold detailing around the edges of that, generally right. There should be some gold on the upper arm and gold on the lower arm, and an entire kind of arm guard here that we don't have. The whole forearm and hand should be the magenta-ish color, and the head sculpt is pretty much spot on. This is good. It ain't perfect, but it's good. You look at it, you instantly know that it's vectorprime. I'm going to give it a 9. There was room to improve on the deco, but I'm still going to give it a solid 9. Let's do the articulation, because that's where this mold really does shine. I mentioned about it being ever so slightly back heavy because of these pieces, I reckon, but it's minor and you can work around it. The head goes left, right, a little bit up, a little bit down. The arms can go all the way around, out to, to the side, elbow little over 90 degrees, bicep swivel, wrist rotation, fingers open and close. These, I guess, move up and down if you want for transformation. We do have the ability to kind of move these however you want them, to the side, to the back, up, around, whatever, which allows for a full, take that out, a full, like, waist all the way around. We have legs all the way forward. We have legs that can go back that far. The like out to the side movement is pretty excellent. We have thigh swivel. We have deep knee, for sure, deep knee. And we have ankle tilt. I mean, the articulation is where he shines. I forgive the inaccuracies of the deco because of the articulation, and not for nothing if I didn't say bicep swivel. That's the big deal here, man. The other one just has a rotation below the elbow, so it still had a rotation, but it didn't have a full-on bicep swivel to, you know, go across his body. That's the big addition here, no doubt about it. Articulation 10. absolute 10. It's splendid. Really, really, really splendid. Okay, let's do the transformation. So we have a 9 and 10, 9.5 for this guy so far. Okay, let's do the transformation. We're going to bring these down. We're going to open up the inside of the forearm and, oh, I don't think I have these folded in enough. Tuck in a hand, open up the inside of the forearm, fold this in, tuck in a hand. Fantastic. Then we're going to come back here and we're going to pick all of that off and we're going to fold the head all the way in. And we're going to take the front here and fold all of that up and turn this around. When we do that, we're also going to turn the waist around. We're going to bring down that piece in right there. And we're going to leave all of this kind of sort of up for now. Okay. Let's just begin to bring up a leg. We're only beginning to bring it up. I'm going to bring the tail fin, I guess, down and around, and I'm going to tuck in the foot. But I'm not bringing this all the way up yet. I'm just kind of bringing it to there for now. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to get it started and begin to bring it up. I'm going to bring that piece all the way around and bring this in. Why am I not bringing these up all the way right away? Because we have to fold in these arms underneath to get them out of the way, and fold out these wings on the side, and then we're going to untab this. Bring all of these wing sections, bring all that up over, and we're going to bring this whole piece down. Why are we doing that first? Because we have a rectangular tab here, and there's slots just under the kneecaps. So now we got to bring up all of that and tab it in, and then the foot tabs down over a peg just on top of the thruster, I guess you could say. We're going to do the same on this side, where we bring the whole leg up, we secure it in, we can even put the wings together, and we're going to tab on that foot over the tab by the thruster. Bring all of that down there. Bring all of this together. Should all work. Bring the and tab the legs together. If I can get them to do so nicely. Yeesh, sorry about that. For whatever reason, this one did not want to tab down there, and I still can't tell you why it didn't do it. When I took it off camera, it did it no problem. Go figure. Okay, now we're going to take this whole piece down, and we have a little notch here that's going to go slid down over right there and lock this into place. Slides down there, no problem. Same thing on this side. We bring it down and it slides down there, no problem whatsoever. The sword, it'll go tabbed underneath here. Like that. Bring that down. It goes tabbed underneath there, no problem. The two arms here, we're going to bring those down on hinges now. And when we bring them down, we have little rectangular tabs right there that go into the two slots on the leg. So we bring this one down, and that little rectangular tab will hopefully slide into the leg. And we bring this one down on this hinge up here. Bring it all the way in, and we do the same thing and make sure that that one, oh, no wonder it wasn't tabbing in. That one tabs in like that. We can take the Cyber Planet key and using these two starts right here and facing the key forward, we can put that in there. And if you don't want to leave the Cyber Planet key there because you want to use that minicon port, you can pick this off. Once I pop that out, yes, it goes in there very securely. I put it back down right here. That's his chest. I leave it there. I don't like it up top. But you can use the minicon port now to put a version of Safeguard up there. I mean, yeah, that's cool. Maybe not necessarily this coloration of him, but I think it's cool that you have that option to do it. The transformation's still a 10. This was a 9.5. The transformation is a 10. I know I fiddled over right here, and I know I had to pop out that piece there, but everything is Got a good fit and finish. It's snug, it's secure underneath. It's snug and secure and a great fit and finish. Overall, it's about a 9.75, maybe a 9.8. This is an excellent mold, and this is an excellent rendition of Vector Prime that gives them the one thing that well, I guess the two things that the original was missing. Ankle tilt and bicep swivel. I just wish that we had an official, proper safeguard to go with him. He is excellent. And here we are once again, and here they are, I'm going to say, because really, we should do a little bit of I guess a comparison overview here. So this guy, way more mass. He has ratchets. The materials feel robust and solid, even all these years later. The transformation is simplistic, but effective. Granted, he's not perfect because this iteration doesn't have the lights and sound, if that's what you wanted. In terms of the coloration here, it's not show accurate, but it is arguably accurate to the Covenant of Primus. Yes, he does have a big backpack, no bicep swivel, no waist, no ankle. So he's good, he's hefty, he's solid, he's fun, but he's not perfect. Oh, and this guy also not only has his Cyber Planet key, but it also has safeguard. There you go. I had to think about it for a second. Then we get to the new one. The new one is much smaller, but it's in keeping with modern day Voyagers. I mean, stop and think for a second. These are both Voyagers. Now you know why I always talk about the mass and value for money. Anyway, it falls in line with modern Voyagers, clocking in at 142 grams of plastic. Ideally 145 to 165, but this guy has a fair amount of paint and a lot of molded in detail. So I kind of, much like with G-Axis, give it a bit of a buy because of everything that is here. And it is pretty close mass-wise. In terms of looking like the show, it's pretty darn good. Again, not perfect. It is certainly a bit stylized, certainly in the lower legs, for example, and on the chest, but you definitely know that this is Vector Prime. And not for nothing, you should have the forearm covers. In terms of looking like the show, though, this one does a pretty bang-up job. A lot of people don't like the way the wings are on the back. There's a billion things you can do with them. I don't mark him down for it because here's one configuration, or you can leave them down straight, or you can just take them off if you're so inclined. They don't even need to be on there. So there's ways you can work around it, maybe a little bit of customization. The articulation is better here. He has a bicep swivel, he has an ankle tilt, he has a waist, plus all the articulation of the older one. The transformation's still fun. Here's the thing. If you have the older mold, any version of it, and you're happy with it, and you're like, nah, I don't care about the imperfections, then you kind of don't need this. If you are wondering, do I get the new one or the old one? Say you don't have any Vector Prime, then probably get this one, because it does have the articulation and stuff, and as we get some more primes going forward in the next iteration of whatever follows Legacy, this guy will probably scale pretty nicely with the rest of those original 13. I don't think there's really a loser here. It's just varying degrees of good. Both of these are excellent, new and, or old and new. Both of these are imperfect, new and old. Just depends on which one you like best. Do you like both of them? Do you like one over the other? Do you like neither? Or do you like some other iteration of Vector Prime that I don't even know of? Let me know which one is your favorite. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, please and thank you, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.